Mississippi 1, Mississippi 2, Mississippi 3, Mississippi 4, and we are cruising? Sorry about that. That was a weird one, too. Um, Fortunately, we didn't get too far ahead of ourselves. So sorry about the break there. We will pick up more or less right I'll start at the top of the paragraph where we broke. Which was he emptied the machine gun's entire clip into the plane's consoles. Sorry about that. Technical issues that are mysterious are fun. I'm beginning to think it's actually not entirely on my end, and it may actually be a YouTube thing or a Twitch thing. I'll find out. I don't really know for sure. I'd have to start doing like individual Twitch streams to see if they broke. But I'm not going to do that because I can't record stuff off of that. Well, I can record it simultaneously as I do it, but it's... Anyway, he emptied the machine gun's entire clip into the plane's consoles. The engines still didn't stop. He hurled the gun away and looked around for the firefighting truck that should be present in the hangar. He saw it, ran over and jumped into it, then backed it up to the ghost plane. He opened the fire extinguisher door on the side of the near engine and shoved the extinguisher nozzle from the truck into it. He opened up the retardant and black smoke began gushing from the engine exhaust. The engine revs began to drop. Flame out. Engine stop. Rei headed toward what he thought was the main hangar. He passed through a blast door, and a massive wave of relief surged through him. He'd guessed correctly. Yukikaze was there, waiting. He tried to operate the elevator controls manually, but they wouldn't work. The auxiliary control system was a fully electronic system, so it needed an external power supply. He found the power supply unit in a trailer. He ran over and switched it on, then connected an AC cable to the auxiliary control panel. With a terrific racket, the elevator slowly began to rise. The sliding bulkhead above the elevator opened. Rei climbed into Yukikaze. Canopy closed. Mask and harness secured. He suddenly realized that his memento of Tomahawk, the analyzer that may have recorded the true form of the jam, had been left in the ghost plane. But there was no time to go back for it. Engine start. The Phoenix on the right came back to life. They rose onto the deck and Rei grunted in frustration. In front of them, hovering before the bulkhead opening, was what looked like the ghost plane. Its engines were off and its flaps were down, but it was still just floating there casually. It was going to ram Yukikaze. Rei hit the button to release the wire anchors, and in a flash, explosive bolts sheared them from the fuselage. Flaps down. Yukikaze floated up from Banshee like the ghost plane. The left engine ignited and started up. Banshee's enormous form began to move forward below them. The ghost plane seemed to drift on the wind and approached. Rei rolled Yukikaze over and jammed the throttle forward to max, burning into a steep turn. The powerless ghost plane couldn't keep up with them. It dipped its nose down and plunged toward Banshee. Was it trying to land? After accelerating to supersonic speed, Rei came about to try a beam attack from a position 90 degrees relative to the Banshee's course. The black hulk of the carrier filled his view. The ghost plane was landing on the elevator. Rei pulled the gun trigger. Rounds from the cannon tore through the ghost plane, and after a couple of seconds, it exploded. Yukikaze blew through the black smoke and withdrew from Banshee at maximum thrust. Yukikaze climbed into the blue sky. Rei didn't look back. Altitude, 82,000 feet. The sky grew dark. Stars in the daytime. He could see the great red whirlpool that poured from fairies' suns. The bloody road. For a brief moment, it was overlaid by Tomahawk's blood, pouring from his slight and broken frame. Tom John's last words came back to him. "I am human, aren't I?"
Of course, Rei whispered. Of course you're human.
He had died with a faint smile on his face, as though he had finally received the reassurance he sought, as though saying that his life hadn't been so bad after all. Banshee's symbol blinked out on the radar. Yukikaze landed back at Ferry Base. Rei taxied to Boomerang Squadron's area. After raising the right engine output to 80% for 15 seconds, he cut it off. He then did the same for the left engine. After he'd killed the engines, he just sat there in the cockpit, looking up at the cloudless sky. Major Booker turned the exterior canopy control handle and peered inside the cockpit. "You all right, Ray? Where's Tom? What happened to—"
Jack, could you check my environmental control system? Rei raised his helmet visor and swiped at the tears on his cheeks with his gloved fist. Something's stinging my eyes.
And that will do it for today. I know, a short one this week. That was a relatively short chapter. And the next one is also not super long. They're all like 45 to 50 pages, give or take. Some are shorter than others, though. Like there's one of them that's like, I don't know, 30 pages at most. But then like the ones after it are also pretty long. Actually, we can probably combine those two. Anyway. Anyway. And let me get another marker in there. So yeah, things are getting very Philip K. Dick here in Yukikaze land. Very Philip K. Dick indeed. Yeah, we probably have about 3 more streams of this one. If I were to guess, I had another. There it is. Ha! I found it. So yeah, sorry about the technical issues. If I knew what was causing them, I would fix them immediately, but regrettably, I don't. I have tried a bunch of different diagnostics to no avail. Could be some planned obsolescence thing in Windows 10 that's kicking in. I don't know. I wouldn't be terribly surprised at this stage. Anyway, without further ado, I guess I'll leave you all to it. Hopefully people are enjoying despite the technical issues. So apart from the broader whatchamacallums, playlist changes, individual book playlists will remain the same. They are all updated as of now for the end of last year to the beginning of this year. So they're all updated. I try to get those updated every month. For anyone wondering why these are so rough, it's because I do them live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday starting at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time, US East Coast Time, or UTC -5, whichever your preference is. -5 or +5? -5. Yep. So if you want to tune in live, you can. Otherwise, feel free to listen to them after the fact. They are raw, uncut, and unedited. If that doesn't work for you, sorry. There's a number of reasons why that's the case. Why it is the way it is. First and foremost being I'm lazy. Second and foremost is it's performance art, so that's the way it's supposed to be. I'll probably try doing some tweaks to my bit rate that I'm doing just to see, and like do a couple that are going to be at a lower bit rate. I already have a low video bit rate. I thought I had a higher audio bit rate than I do though, which is interesting. I'll have to bump that up. Anyway, that about does it. That about does it. Yeah, because you don't need the video so much for this. It doesn't really matter. At any rate, hope people are enjoying. I think it's a pretty rad book. I think the sequel is also very rad. We will never get either of the 2 books that come after Good Luck Yukikaze. Um, I've resolved myself to that inevitability, as I've said before, as depressing as it is. Um, but them's the breaks. Anyway, see you all later. This Wednesday, we will continue reading Permutation City by Greg Egan. We're most of the way through that, probably about 2 more streams worth of that. And after we finish that, Wednesdays will be The Realm of Area X once again. Um, we will do Absolution by Jeff Vandermeer after those two are done. So by February, we will be started on that. On Fridays, we will be reading. On Friday, we will be reading through more of The Dark Forest by Shijin Liu. We're after this week, we'll be at about the halfway point. Um, yeah, after this week, we'll be around the halfway point, and after we finish that, many weeks from now, we will get started on the second, kind of third, volume of the Pandora sequence by Bill Ransom and Frank Herbert. It's third if you count Destination Void, which I do, which is only by Frank Herbert. Second if you consider the Pandora sequence just the 3 collaborative books, which are The Jesus Incident, The Lazarus Effect, and whatever the third one's called. The Ascension Factor. There we go. Um, the Lazarus Effect. All 3 of them are a wild. Like all 4 of them really are a wild ride. I don't know what I'm going to do after I get both trilogies done. Um, I haven't figured that out yet. Uh, Probably just do a couple single books for a while, and then find some other trilogy or something to read through. I could do the what's that one? One of the Star Wars expanded universe trilogies. I don't even know if that book's still in print. If they're still in, all of them are still in print. Some of them might be. I have a couple. I don't have all of the pre. I actually stopped collecting well before pre Disney. Um, right around the time they started doing the whole Yuuzhan Vong um, Star Wars universe shakeup, I was like, okay, I think I'm done. I think we're good. And the prequel stuff, I'd largely called it quits by then. I have most of the stuff that was published before then, so up through like the Crystal Star and a couple others. Um, so the Jedi Academy trilogy is one I'd probably be willing to do. That one's fairly fun, although it's kind of goofy. All of them are pretty fun, though kind of goofy. That or the Thrawn trilogy. I might wind up doing one of those. Um, or just do something, just keep doing single books for a while. I don't know. I'll figure it out. God knows I've got enough of a backlog. Anyway, that'll do it for this week. Thanks for tuning in. Stay safe, stay sane, and stay toasty or cool as per your preference or geolocation permit, and be decent to each other. I will see you all later. Toodaloo.